Hello and welcome back, and if this is your first time joining us, I'm glad you're here. This is Tales from the World's Firesides, and I'm Clive Gilson, your friendly neighbourhood story guy. Today's tale is something a little different and a little special. We're travelling to South-East Greenland for a story that's long captured my imagination. It's called The Insects That Wooed a Wifeless Man, and it's got all the elements of a great story: magic, mystery, and more than a few surprises along the way. This version comes from my collection, Qugaagix, Tales from Alaska and the North, but I've reimagined it slightly for today's telling, just enough to give it a fresh breath of life while honouring the spirit of the original. So wherever you are, get comfortable, settle into your favourite chair, and let's step together into the story. The Insects That Wooed a Wifeless Man. Once there lived a man without a wife. Yes, that's how stories like this often begin. He was not well liked. Whenever he caught sight of the village girls playing outside, he would rush over to them, and they, without fail, would scatter and run into their homes. He was considered something of a nuisance. And when the great hunting season arrived, when the men took to their kayaks and returned laden with seals and game, the wifeless man, true to form, would oversleep. Each time he resolved to join the hunt, he would remain asleep until the sun had set and the other hunters were already returning with their catch. One evening, just after sunset, he awoke late once more. Still, he climbed into his kayak and set out into the open waters. He had not rowed far from the village when he heard a voice calling out, "Help me! My kayak has overturned!" He quickly made his way to the source of the cries and righted the capsized vessel. But to his astonishment, the man he rescued was no ordinary man. He was one of the noseless ones, strange beings said to dwell beneath the earth. "You've saved my life," said the noseless one. "As a reward, I will give you all my hide thongs adorned with walrus tusk." But the wifeless man shook his head. "No," he said, "I'm not fit to receive such gifts. My great weakness is my endless sleepiness, and that I cannot seem to overcome." "Well, then come with me to the land," said the strange being, who was known also as the Fireman, and together they went ashore. "This is the man who saved me when I was near death," announced the Fireman to his kin. "I only happened upon you because my path crossed yours," said the wifeless man. "It was the first time in many days I'd taken my kayak out at all." The Fireman nodded. "Then listen well," he said. "On your journey home you may choose one animal, only one, but speak of what you have seen to no one, or misfortune will follow you in the hunt." The man agreed and returned to his village. His arrival was unexpected. When the young women realized he had not perished, they muttered with displeasure and retreated to their homes once again. Yet the man brought with him a seal, and the next morning he did something he had never done before. He rose before dawn and went out to sea. By the time the sun was in the sky, he returned home with 3 seals, while the other hunters were only just preparing to leave. And so it continued. Each morning he rose early, and each day he returned with plentiful game. The villagers, especially the young women who once scorned him, began to take notice. "What has come over our wifeless man?" they whispered among themselves, and one by one they began to compete for his favour. "Let it be me," each one pleaded. Eventually, the wifeless man did choose one, laughing as he did, and they became husband and wife. Their home was filled daily with freshly caught seal meat, but after a while his wife did grow tired of it. "Why must you bring back so many?" she asked. He replied simply, "They come of their own accord, and I catch them, that is all." Still, she pressed him to reveal his secret, and eventually he began. "It happened this way. Once," but then he stopped and went to rest. He found it hard to sleep, and by the time he woke, the sun was already high above the village. That day he caught only the one seal. That evening his wife again asked him and would not relent. At last he told her the full tale, how he had once set out late, encountered a man in distress, and rescued a noseless one. He described the reward, the warning, and all that followed. And from that day his power left him. The old sleepiness returned. His luck turned. He could no longer hunt as before, and soon he had nothing left, not even enough skins for his wife's clothing. So she left him. He pursued her, but she escaped through a narrow crevice in the rocks, a gap he could only just manage to squeeze through. He lay in wait then, hoping she would return. And then he heard whispering. "You go out to him," said a voice within. Out crawled a blowfly. "Take me," it said. "I will not," said the wifeless man. "You feed on filth." The blowfly laughed and returned to the crevice. "He won't take me," he says. "I feed on muck," it announced. Then another voice. "Now you go." Out came a common fly. "You may have me," it said. "Thank you," replied the man, "but no. You lay your eggs anywhere and your eyes are far too large." The fly laughed and returned with the same message. Next came a crane fly. "Take me," it offered. "No," said the man, "your legs are too long." Then a centipede. "Take me," it said. "I will not. You have too many legs and your body clings to the ground. Your eyes are dreadful." The centipede cackled and disappeared back inside. Finally, a gnat emerged. "Take me," it said. "No, you bite," the man replied. Then at last his wife's voice called to him from within. "Come inside," she said, "since you'll have none of the others." He squeezed himself through the crevice and was reunited with her. "Comb my hair," he said, content once more, and she combed it. As she did so, she spoke softly above him. "Sleep, and do not wake until the fulmar calls. Sleep until the young birds cry out." And he slept. When he finally awoke, he was alone. Summer had come. The cliffs echoed with the cries of the fulmar, and where there had once been snow, the earth was blue and bright. He went down to his kayak, but the skin was worn and rotted with age. And so, I suppose, he returned home once again, and now perhaps he sits there still, scratching himself in peace. And that brings us to the end of today's tale. This adaptation is taken from a story collected by Knud Rasmussen in Eskimo Folk Tales, which was edited and translated later by William John Alexander Worcester and originally published by Gyldendal, London and Copenhagen in 1919. And this is a tale from the peoples of South-East Greenland. I've always found joy in rediscovering these lesser-known legends, unearthing them from the pages of old collections and offering them a bit of a modern retelling, just enough to breathe new life into them so they can reach fresh ears, just like yours. If you like to explore more stories like this, then there's a link at the bottom of the screen and in the description. And if you're curious about Tales from the World's Firesides as a project, or you'd simply like to know more about me, Clive Gilson, the story guy, then you can find everything at clivegilson.com. Before you go, I'd really appreciate it if you could consider tapping that like button or giving us a follow. It really does help others discover these stories. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then now is the perfect time. I'm dropping new tales every week. Until next time, though, keep listening, keep imagining, and as ever, keep that storytelling flame burning bright. Take care, and I'll see you soon.